My name is David Harrison Greis. Welcome to the Greis Report, your unfiltered daily voice for truth. Tonight, I would like to start by talking about what happened with the ICE Gestapo agent in 26 Federal Plaza. He basically brutally beat a woman for crying about her husband. Now, her husband, moments before, was ripped away from her, while her children were basically ripped away from her as well by ICE Gestapo. They swarmed around him as they usually do, ripped him away from his family, dragged him off into the stairwell, and locked the door while the wife was crying and the kids were crying. And she was like, "What are you going to do to my husband? What's going to happen? What do we do now?" And he's like, "Adios, adios." And you'll see in the video, he throws her to the ground. He kicks her, puts his feet between her legs, and just beats on her. This guy is a punk. And they suspended him from duty. That's not far enough. He needs to go to jail. He needs to be charged criminally. And this whole ICE operation needs to be shut down as a result. We've had enough death and enough destruction. So now we're going to watch the video so you can see what actually went down.
Violent confrontation at immigration court today. City Controller Brad Lander says an ICE agent was caught on video pushing a woman to the ground just moments after her husband was detained. But as Ali Bauman reports, the Department of Homeland Security has remained silent about exactly what happened.
They're going to kill him, a woman pleads in Spanish to a plainclothes officer. Then
Come on, man. Come on.
he pushes her to the ground and stands over her as the cries of her two children echo through the hall. This happened Thursday in the federal immigration court in Lower Manhattan. City Comptroller Brad Lander was in the building at the time and says the woman's husband had just been detained.
It was after he left his hearing that agents grabbed him in the hallway. Again, giving no reason, presenting no warrant.
It's become a routine practice for ICE since the spring to detain migrants outside the courtrooms immediately following their asylum hearings.
Video taken moments earlier shows the same woman locking arms with her husband as officers in masks, caps, and sunglasses pry them apart in front of their daughter. Hours later, Congressman Dan Goldman posted these photos with the caption, "Monica and her young children fled to my office for safety after she was assaulted by this ICE agent in an egregious act of excessive force." He's calling on the Department of Homeland Security.
See what I mean? Gestapo. Violent. Unhinged. And that's what he can control himself to do. Imagine if there were no cameras on him, what he would have done. I shudder to think what these people are capable of. They are animals. They are monsters. And even if you do comply, they're still going to hurt you. They're Gestapo, and they are right now above the law until we hold them accountable to the law. If you like what you're hearing tonight, please remember to like, subscribe. Down here, we have an email address, greisreport@gmail.com. Again, that's the greisreport@gmail.com. Please send us any tips, leads, story requests that you might have, any of your video of the music festivals or any of the protests, or if you have any interactions with the ICE Gestapo, or if you have any photographs of the ICE Gestapo, videos of their license plate, anything that we could air and get out there for people to be warned, please send that over. And the best thing that you could do to support our channel, because we're not asking for money or anything else, is to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and hit that bell so that we can get the news out there. That's all that really matters to us right now. Now, the next story that I'm going to get into is something that's really close to my heart. This came from Iowa today, which is an unusual place to be reporting about because I never usually hear things out of Iowa. This came from the Des Moines area. So the Des Moines superintendent for the public school district over there, Dr. Ian Roberts, was abducted by the ICE Gestapo this morning. I watched the press conference and I saw the emotion in everybody that was speaking. And I saw the Spanish translator moved almost to tears by talking about this. And it's a devastating thing to happen to a community. And there's the excuse that they gave for abducting him is absurd. They're claiming that he's an illegal alien, which is like their favorite thing to say, which is nonsense, from Guyana, and that he came here on a student visa in 1999, has been trying to be deported for 24 years or whatever, because they want him out of the country. They allegedly found him with weapons and cash and gun charges. The dude is a superintendent of a public school district. I mean, that's practically a government job. The amount of background checks that someone has to clear, the amount of forms that has to be filled out. It's from somebody who has worked in the public school system. Please trust me when I tell you, there is no way what they're saying about this man could be true. And I really hope we find justice and that he's released. a superintendent of a public school that's beloved by his community. And this is who they're targeting. Disgusting. Punks. So the last story I'm going to end on tonight. Briefly, I want to mention what happened today in Broadview, Illinois. So I have some sources that are out there on social media that have been documenting the ongoing protests in Broadview, Illinois. Police are standing over to the side. They're not really intervening. I'm not even sure that they have the ability to intervene. But the ICE Gestapo, on the other hand, are still shooting rubber bullets, paintball guns from the rooftops, tear gas, mace, whatever they can get their hands on, they're throwing at these peaceful protesters. Now we see the peaceful protesters, anti-fascists, in action, anti-fascism in action. And then we see the ICE Gestapo, fascism in action. And you see the difference. There's a massive difference. One is power of the people. The other is power of the state. That's not America. And tonight I want to end on a video of Mad King wannabe cosplayer Donald Trump, the big crybaby loser. He's back at it again, targeting the radical left, going after his enemies. So he charged and indicted Comey of the FBI. And now he's going to go after other people too. And he's not going to stop until he gets his revenge. So let's listen to that twisted little man talk about his revenge fantasy.
More about justice, or is it about revenge? It's about justice, too. It's not revenge. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was a strong answer. He then verified it a couple of times because that was a very important answer. If he would have equivocated, if he would have been like a little bit less sure, that would have been very bad for him. So he gave an answer. The only problem is for him, he didn't think it'd be caught, and he got caught.
Right? Makes you sick to hear. Makes me sick to hear. I hate hearing his voice, and I hate seeing his face. I can't wait until this whole thing is over and done with, and we can build back America better. So if you like what you heard tonight, please subscribe to that channel. It really does help us get the news out there. My name is David Harrison Greis. Welcome to The Resistance, and have a great night.